All right, War Machine, episode 15. If I look a little raggedy, I apologize. I just got up and I got to do a lot of editing. So we're going to build a floor. All right, we're going to finish in a floor. Anyway, this is going to be part one of a two-part episode. Part one is going to be kind of long, but there's a lot I wanted to show you. Part two is going to be a little bit shorter with some time-lapse stuff. It's going to be good. I'm excited to show it to you. So here we go. What's up? I'm back. So finally got that firewall all squared away. So now it's time to turn my attention to the inside of this floor in here. Primarily the areas where I had to kind of chop it up a little bit to get it put in there and get it pieced together and all that type of stuff. So let me show you what we're working with. No bar! Finally I was able to cut that guy out. Man, I'm tired of stepping around it too. Super happy that dude's gone. So now we are on to that big hole. You remember that? The big old hole that I cut in the floor that was really unnecessary since I had to cut that bar out anyway and put a new one in. So we'll call this area right here, this is stupid tax is what this is. Oh well, everybody's got to pay it, right? So next, we got this spot right here, and then you got his brother right there. That's got to be cut out. I'm not cut out, but fixed. Okay, then you got that little strip right along there. We got to fix all that up. So, first, we got to start by making all the plates to go on there. Bam! Just like that. Woo, that was fast. I am awesome. So, there you have it. That plate's all made and plug welded. Got a little etch on the metal there to keep it from rusting on the back side of all of these. I've also got etch. Got that right there. She's all screwed in place, ready to go. That guy right there is all screwed in place, ready to go. But this guy, he's all screwed down, ready to go. You see I rolled a little flange on that so it fit down nice, match up. And you got this one. He goes up here like that, but I have to weld the other two in. I have to weld these two sides in first because this big one actually overlaps both sides of that. So I'm gonna weld all this in, then I'll finish off the welds on that one and that one, put this guy on, get him all welded in place, then we'll be ready to move on to the next thing. There it is, just like that. And what was just a matter of seconds for you guys was, I don't know, hours for me. Anyhow, you can see everything is all welded in. A couple of little screw holes right there I didn't weld up. Whatever, I'll put some seam sealer in them. That one's all welded in, finished up. No more stupid tax hole right there. Oh, that's ready to seam seal up and then get ready to coat. So it's been a couple weeks since that last little video that you saw 2 seconds ago. I've been all over the southeast with my kids playing baseball and softball, but I'm finally able to get back and do a little work on this truck, finally. As you can see, it's a little bit brighter. Look what happened. I got some lights. I've actually got enough for the whole shop, but all I've had time to put up was those. But either way, these are lighting up the bay, which I'm working on the truck in. So been pretty excited about that. Spent most of yesterday doing that. Ooh. Ah. It's so pretty. But let me show you where we're at here today. We finished up last time, needed to make the templates to finish working in that floor. So it's been a couple hours here today. It won't look like it, it just looks like two little raggedy pieces of metal, but it takes forever. That's the thing about building a project like this is that you go, hey, I'm just gonna put this little, I just gotta make a little bracket to go right here. This, you know, then you spend 3 hours making the stupid bracket. And you know, it takes 13 seconds to film it and you're just kind of like, wow, that really doesn't seem like much payoff for all the work I did. But that's how it goes, right? So anyhow, let me show you what we're looking at right here. Show you where we are. So, here you have it. You see this one is all cut and shaped in. I've bent it and matched the angle that this was on so it's sitting nice and flush. Got it all screwed in. Then we bend it right over this pinch weld here. That way after I get it all welded in, the wedge strip will sit right against there, nice and smooth. You'll see this is not sitting flush right now. Reason being, I'm gonna come along, I'm gonna weld it here. This is actually screwed down where it's sitting pretty good, except for about right there. I'll put a screw in it there. I've got a screw in it, holding it nice and tight right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna weld it all the way along here and get it where it'll hold fast. Then I'm gonna come back and I'll kind of beat this down and work it in with a hammer and work it down there a little bit better. And you know, once I get to knocking it down some, I'll be able to screw it here, pull it down just a little bit more, and you know, throw a weld in it, and I'll get my torch and I'll heat it just a little bit so I can kind of make this shape its way in just a little bit and hammer it. Now I left the screws out from up here because as I hammer this down, this thing's going to want to twist just like this a little bit, and I want it to do that. I've left it open so it can move that little bit like that, because I want this to have kind of a gentle roll to it where it'll come back and feed back into this area right here. I don't really know why, I just thought it would look cool if I did it that way. I really made a whole lot more work for myself to do that, but I think it'll look cool when it's done. Lord, I hope so, because there's going to be a whole lot of hammering and heating to get it there. But nonetheless, once we get this kind of beat down into place, get it all shaped, I'll work my way up and I'm gonna weld through here. Then I'll screw all of this down so it fits all nice and tight, weld up all these plug welds, finish all that in. So I'm gonna get started heating and hammering. Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna take both of these off. I've already put some etch on the underside of them to protect them, but I'm gonna go along. There's bare metal underneath all this I'm gonna weld to. So I'll go ahead and I'll dust a little bit of etch on there. That way it's got some corrosion protectant on it. Then I'll screw these back down. I'll weld this guy in first. I'll go ahead and get where it goes underneath this. There's two welds that are like here and here that I'm gonna go on and I'll finish off those welds and get them all cleaned up. That way once I hammer this guy down in place, it'll all be nice and smooth, and I mean, not perfect, but hopefully it'll look pretty nice. It'll certainly be functional and strong. So here we go. Wish me luck. It's been like a second and a half for you, but it's been a couple hours for me. As usual, you know, I'm steadily plugging away. So here's where we are. All right, so got everything welded in, you see. Give you a good look see here. You see how it's all finished out through the jamb there. So it's all nice and snug. You see how I got that little contour where it feeds in right here. No idea why I spend this much time on such a stupid little thing to be so intricate when nobody will ever see it. And I don't know, it may have carpet over the time it's all said and done. It'll certainly have sound deadener over it, but either way, it came out really, really good. I'm super happy with how it turned out. You see everything fits nice and flush. It's all welded in, really, really good. So now you can tell I've already cut this chunk out right here so I can start working this in. This is the last thing I've got on this side of the truck to completely finish working this floor in. So what I'm going to do, see if I can get you look-see here. I'm going to lay a piece of metal that's flat right here. Here's my template. I'm gonna lay it in there. Slide up there, come on. Okay, it will sit just like that. I'm gonna weld it through from the other side, from the front side, and it will mount nice and flush there, because as you can see, this is all, it's recessed down in there. So I don't have anything to weld to put a piece of metal in right here. So I'm gonna lay that in. I'm gonna weld it right through here, weld all the way across here, so it'll be holding nice and fast. Then we will come back to another cardboard template shaped like that, basically, which will slide in here thusly like this and extend. Okay, it'll be flush, but you get the picture. It's going to extend. Oh, it stayed nicely. It's going to just extend that trough all the way down, and it will weld against that flat section that I'm going to put in right there. Then I'm going to make a nice piece that'll sit right in here and kind of, I think I'm going to maybe try to just match this contour and extend it up. Now I didn't follow the line of the door jamb right here, which would have looked really, really cool because of that guy right there. That is the hole for the seat belt. So that's why I decided to just kind of keep it low down in there and make kind of that trough out of it. And hopefully it comes out looking as nice as the last one. I haven't decided if I'm going to try to overlap right here or underlap. I really don't like making a butt joint right there. I'm just going to kind of have to see how it all works out as I'm building. So, here we go. Got a little bit I'm going to show you. I've been working on this back corner of this thing. So I want to show you this part right here. So I show you just one of the little funky little things that I have to fix along the way before I can even build in the new stuff of what I want to do. So check this out. So what we've got is this little inner panel right here. See that guy right there? That is an inner panel. It wraps around the whole back of the cab, and then for some stupid reason it stops and then comes down into right here. I don't know why it does that. It makes absolutely no sense to me. But it's not like super strong, because it's just kind of, it goes up in here and it welds to this piece, but it's not as sturdy as I want to just fully attach my floor to. So what I have done is I have made this guy right here, and what he does is he fits right there, just like that. Let's see, hang on, like that. Shit. Right, come on. Right there, that's how he fits. So that welds to the pinch weld here. It ties into this piece of metal here. Then it ties into that aggravating little piece of metal. Yep, that was my toe. It's going to tie into this, and so it's going to tie all three of those pieces together, so it'll be nice and strong. That way I can build off of it. So I can put in this piece that's going to go right here, then I can build in the piece that will go right here. Now, as you can already see, I have got this trough extension. It's all shaped and bent in right there. Now it is going to lay in and plug weld right across here. You can see I've already welded in a piece right here to strengthen it up. So I'm going to plug weld it all the way across here. Then you see right here where it comes across, I'm going to make a cut there, there. I'm going to get rid of this piece. I'm going to wrap this over that pinch weld right there. Then, as much as I hate to have to do it, I'm going to do a butt joint weld right here, because I couldn't really get it to fit like I wanted, and do an overlap, plus put all these bends in it that it needed to, because this metal's kind of thick. And I don't have a press brake, so I have to bend all this stuff by hand. So that's how that's gonna go. So there you see it. When we come back, hopefully she'll be built on in there a little bit more. All right, back again. So the goal here, I'm going to show you where I got that section of floor molded in from the last video. I went ahead and I've already got one of the vertical pieces made that goes kind of to that back section where that cross member mount is. So I'll show you where all that is right now. So you can see we got all that welded in there. It's all plug welded here. All down here is plug welded and finished. Got it wrapped over into our jam right here. Went ahead and made this piece, which was a super huge pain in the butt because it's got all these different bends and angles and all that. But it's already welded in and finished, so the next thing that I plan to tackle will be going all the way across this back section. Once I get, and then make the flat panels that go across there. I'm going to kind of make like a an L-shaped bracket to go right here, like a 90-degree bracket that's going to weld to this, and then it's going to weld into the panel that we're going to make here. There's going to be a little gap right here. I'll make a little piece right there to fill that in, and then this whole side of the floor will be done. That's a huge step, because once we get all the way over there, we'll just have to knock out that section, and not all the hard part, but one big section of the hard part will be done, in the sense of it'll be easier to duplicate the other side because I have all the templates made now. So let me show you how we got here. These are all the templates that I used all the way through this whole process to make all these little metal panels. You see that one's all cut out and got the bends in it, and then there's that guy right there. You see And this is actually the first piece that will go across the back of the cab. You see it's got the hole there for the body mount bolt to come through. So that, through using those, I'll turn this back around so you can see me. Through using those, I'll be able to build in the other side. Hopefully it'll go a lot faster because all the templates will be made. All I gotta do is kind of set them in there. I'm sure they won't be exactly perfect, but hopefully they're close enough that I can just kind of tweak it a little bit, cut them out, throw them down in there and weld it. That's the plan anyhow. So on the back section, where we're going across the back of the cab there, I've got one piece of it made right now. Here, I'll show you that. So we made our cardboard template. See, I got the hole in it there for the body mount. I went ahead, because these are large flat pieces on there, I went ahead, I took my trusty bead roller there. You can see I rolled some beads in it. Now those beads are going to go actually in, so this will be the top side of it. That way I can come back and lay sound deadener over it, and it'll be nice and flat. So I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna roll a little 3/4 inch flange right here. That way it will overlap the centerpiece that will go in. Actually, you know what I might do, actually? The centerpiece, which this is it, I've already kind of got cut out. I've got to roll the beads and stuff in it just yet. What I'm about to do right now, I'm gonna go ahead and make the other side of this because I've already got the template made. I've got the piece cut out already, which there she sits right here. Piece is cut out. You see I've got my hole for the body mount bolt. I've got it marked. This is the marks for the bead roller. So I'm gonna go in and cut it out, and then what I'll do is I'll get them positioned in and I'll get both corners installed. Then I'll lay this piece in there because I might have to cut a little bit off of it and trim it out. So what I'm probably gonna do is I'll go on and I'll roll the flange on the end of this on each end, and then I'll roll the beads in it, and that way I can sit this one over last and just let it go over top of these two panels. I think that's gonna be the easiest way. So I've got it all measured out, near as I could get it anyway. I'm sure they won't line up because nothing in my shop ever goes that perfectly, but it'll be strong. So it's all measured out. I'm gonna use my hole saw and make a hole here, and then I'm gonna roll the beads in it. So sit back, watch me do that. Use my trusty rigid drill and my hole saw. I'm just gonna drill it straight down into this piece of wood just because I am. So let's see how bad I can miss this hole. Hopefully not at all, but I guess a halfway smart person would probably just kind of measure it a little bit and eyeball it, instead of just eyeballing it and drilling it way off. So let's see if we can just roughly figure out. It looks like it's about 3/4, so 3/8 is going to be halfway. It looks like it was actually pretty close. All right, here we go. No, not bad. Just like that. We have a hole. Geez, good thing I was wearing these safety glasses on my head, huh? Way to go, numbskull. I can come back and clean that up with a grinder a little bit later, but that hole is made. I gotta fish that little piece of metal out of there later. So next up is going to be the bead roller. Okay, this is about the best view that I can get for you, so hopefully you can see something in this and see this comedy show that I'm about to put on with me trying to put these crooked beads in this thing. Should be good. So I'm sure there's a lot of ways to do it. I'm sure the way that I'm doing it is probably not going to be appropriate for how a lot of people do it. So I want to start mine right there. So the way that I'm going to do it is I've got my center line right here. So I kind of eyeball it to the center of the axle on my bead roller there. Then I go ahead and tighten this guy down to 3. So it should be starting to put an indentation in it there. Kind of eyeball my line here. And start rolling her. I just try to follow that black line the best I can. I mean, it's hard to do when you got to roll the crank and guide the stupid thing. Make sure I got the right side up. Thankfully I do. Don't ask me how I figured out that, you know, you can screw that up. I mean, this bead roller is pretty easy to use, but I mean, like I said before, for no more than I use it, it's just not a smart financial decision to go and spend a fortune on a really nice one. One of these days, maybe I'll try to put some electrics on it. That would be cool. If it just had a pedal, I'm sure I could rig that up. So, oh yeah, I definitely missed that. I'll just try to straighten up. So I'm just going to turn it until I get back kind of to the center of my mark there. That's pretty close. I got a pretty good bead in there. You can see the metal kind of bends some as it goes through. Now I'll make sure that 1, 2, 3. So you can see the metal kind of bend some as it come back through. Right now it's still a little bit flexible. You see it pops back right, but it is way stronger now than it was once I roll this other bead in it. It'll be even better. So same as last time, I just ease it in here, find my little mark, my center line there. Of course I didn't make this mark quite far enough out. Oh well, like I said, nothing's perfect. I don't know if it matters or not, but I always try to make the same amount of turns when I go down. And just roll her on through. And these beads look really cool, you know. The guys that are really good at them, and my hat is off to you. Because the guys that are really good at them, they can draw flames and all type of cool designs and stuff. I can't do any of that. Well, I don't know. I might could if I tried hard enough to get good at it. I think I can do anything until somebody proves to me I can't. But I'm probably going to cover this up with sound deadening material anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. I don't guess how perfect it looks. It's really there for function anyhow, just to be strong. And I'm kind of funny about that. I just don't believe in putting form over function ever. It doesn't really matter if it looks cool or not. If it, you know, if it gets in an accident, somebody gets injured, I don't really care too much how it looks. If a part fails, 1, 2, 3. So there we go. See, beads, beads, hole. So there's that. So I can flatten that out. I'm gonna take I'll take my hole puncher and go all along this edge here, down through here. That way I can plug weld it all together. I'm gonna make a nice little flange to go right there. I keep calling it a flange, for lack of a better word. I don't know. It's an L bracket, or as Al Bundy would say, a 7. I don't have any L's. All I got are these 7s. So, nonetheless, get to working on that. Moving on. All right, so in working on this back section of this floor, going over this cross member, come apart another one of these funky little areas that you have to kind of bend and make in order to make this stuff work, so it kind of all fits together nice and is strong. So let me show you what we're working with right here. All right, so gonna make this little guy, let me show you why. So as you can see, you got the floor all finished in here. So I've got this piece all welded in, bolted down, welded here, welded on the center, welded it back here. Well, of course, under here, this thing dogs way off and goes down. Let me show you that. All right, see how that goes? Well, I'm not really trying to mess with trying to bend and make this angle right here. I'd never be able to get in there and weld it, and certainly wouldn't be able to finish it off. even though it would have been easy just to kind of roll that flat down, but I would have never been able to weld it here. So what I've decided to do is just come straight across here and leave it flat, which that's actually flat than it looks if you lay it. It's pretty flat. But as you can see, this has got a curve in it right here, and it's not even like a perfect 90-degree curve. It kind of dips back in there, and then you run along and you got an open gap right here, and we've got here. So we make this guy right here, and he sits in there just like so. So what I'm going to do is I'll clamp this to this piece right here. I'll push it as far into the back of the cab as I can. I'm going to clamp it down. I'm going to burn these 3 welds in. Then I'm going to go ahead and make sure this all shapes to the back of the cab real good. Push it in there nice and solid. Then I'm going to weld this piece down right here. That way it'll make this piece one. Then I'm going to come back. I'm going to use this trusty piece of hickory right here. I'm going to clamp it down across and clamp it to it. That way I know that I'm nice and flat across there. And once it's nice and flat, then I'll come back and I'll weld it to my cab. That way it locks it in. And then I'll come back with this second one. He goes right there. Weld him in. Let's see, once I get that locked down, then I can come in. I've already started making this piece that'll go right here, but I had to lock this down. That way I could get my line drawn across my secondary piece of metal that's going to go here, because I'm going to roll it. I'm going to kind of flange it over, and actually I think I'm going to kind of flange it under right here. That way I can pop holes in this and weld to this piece of metal. That way it'll be kind of nice and flat across here. I don't know. I'll see when the time comes, once I get this all locked down, what's going to be the easiest, most efficient way to do it. So, moving along. All right, that's a wrap for part 1. If you hung in there and watched it all, thank you. I appreciate it. As always, you know, if you like it, throw me a like, comment or something. Let me know how it's going. Throw me a subscribe. Go tell your buddies to come watch. Come back for episode 2. It's going to be coming here really quick.